So the idea, we'll spend 30 minutes to discuss about what we did to revive Express. Express is something that is here for the last, alive for the last 15 years now, close to. We are all using it, even if you don't know it. So that's quite an interesting story to tell. Really quickly about me, I'm a principal engineer working at Sanofi. I'm, like was said just before, part of the technical committee at Express. Doing some stuff around JavaScript, Node.js, bit of Rust, and I do like to talk at conferences, and I'm a big fan of whiskey. So if you have a good whiskey spot, ping me. Really quickly, I do have a few interesting questions, I guess interesting. How many versions do you think were published for Express? So we would say, just raise your hand, 3 versions, 4 versions, 5 versions, 6 versions. Okay, cool. So it was 6. Technically, we have V0 that existed. There is only one release, that's the only one, the first one being released. And that's all. Second question, just to give you a size of Express, how many downloads do you think there is on NPM? So it's an approximate number, less than 1 million, same, 1 to 10, 10 to 50, cool, more than 50, soon it will be more than 50 million. 4 months ago, it was 41 million, to give you an insight. And Express, I will be mostly talking about Express, but it means the Express group, the Express organization, and we have not just one packages, but a lot of packages. How many do you think? So one, I already say it's not one. You didn't listen. We would say 20, 40, okay, 60. Yeah, okay. That's mostly 40 really that we try to maintain. A lot of them, maybe you never saw them, you are not using them actively, but passively that's under the hood of pretty much every framework that you would be encountering. If you check Express, is like way below in the number of downloads, just because other stuff are used by other framework. And so we released Express 5. That's not, I guess, that's known now. But when do you think that the pull request to release Express 5 was open? 2014, 2016, 2018, 2020. Cool. It was 2014. It took 11 years to release it. I think we could have the highest time needed to release a pull request for something that is used globally. Maybe we'll have a Guinness Book record one day or something. And like I said, Express is not just one framework, it's just not one package, but that's a full ecosystem of packages that you may use actively or not. And that's split in 3 organizations. Express.js, Pillar.js, and JS HTTP. That's really the top one. There is something around 40 repositories with more than 1 million weekly download, part of that. A bit more for the latest increase, but that's quite an interesting number. Today, and I just checked the number this morning, we do have something around 48 million downloads just for Express. That's not even our highest downloaded packages. I think the highest is like MIMEDB or something like that, that is close to 120 million per week. And if you take all packages, it's something around 86 billion downloads per year. Yeah. Which means if you compare that to every other framework, there is a huge disparity just for Express, closing the 50 million mark, where the other one would be around 8, 7 million, something close to that. So there is a huge disparity. Everyone is using Express, even if you encounter a lot of people just, hey, app is better, Fastify is faster, pretty much everything. Definitely Express is the one running the industry. Okay. Yeah, and I have the same just for the sake of comparison. We talked a lot about React. We talked about Angular and stuff like that. If you take every other framework, Express is more downloading than React. So Express win across everything. Technically, it's almost the same number. If you take Express versus Angular plus React, it's close to the same number. So that's quite an interesting value. Which means today, if you are using any kind of framework, writing Node.js backend with any framework from Restify, Fastify, API, Nest.js, stuff like that, you are using, maybe not Express directly, but you are using at least one package as part of the Express ecosystem. Most of the time, you will be using Express itself behind the scene. So I'm here to discuss about the Express revival, because that's really why we are about. First, there was a lot of discussion. So you have to understand that in 2014, like we saw earlier, someone, Doug, that was the main maintainer back in the day, opened a pull request for Express 5. In 2016, end of 2016, people starting to ask, hey, is Express dead? There is no new commit, no new pull request, no new releases. The current pull request basically is not moving. What's happening? Same discussion 2020, same discussion 2021, same discussion 2021 again. So please stop. And basically, that was a huge topic. Just because Express was used pretty much everywhere, not having a framework that size, plus the set of full dependency, the full other library, it raised issue, because you have issue about security, performance, and pretty much everything that comes with it. And that was a pull request that started in July 14, 2014. There was a beta version 1 being released. There was a list of releases, changes, and basically it was stuck like that for 11 years. And like I said, if you are really into security or want to build safe API, especially with what happened, like, let's say, in the last 3-4 weeks, security is a huge concern. And with the size of Express, number of download, people using that, and industry using Express, that was really something high in the list. So how about Express security? How about improving or adding new standards? What about performances? Maybe new feature or any kind of other topic that you may want or need, for example, to work on your company. And that was basically stuck at 11 years ago. And just basically the last one is, how about updating? You want to update your CI, you want to be able to rely on something, you want to ensure that you can use the latest Node.js version, even if it was working fine. Express is not built or was not built to be optimized or to be working optimally for Node 20, because there was never a release for Node 20. Which give basically that a screenshot from a couple of months ago. That was the number of downloads for Express back before we released the V5 and pretty much everything. So you can see there is, let's say, on the 418, it's 23 million, and then you still have a lot of people on the 417, 15 million, so quite a lot of time ago. Especially, like, there was, one release in the last 2 years, then it was 3 years, so not a lot of releases. It was just minor fixes. Some of them were like, oh, we will just bump the ESLint version, so not really something you care about. So yeah, and after we released, a lot of those numbers moved out, and now we show the latest screenshot with all the new value, number of downloads, and we can see that it shifted a lot. So, Express Forward. That's the name of the initiative we pushed to create or to move Express back alive, to bring Express in the community, we hope, loved by everyone. And I'm French, so every huge discussion, we need to have cheers. A lot of that. And so we had a first discussion with Wes that was part of Express, and it was really about bringing a long time for a discussion. It was more than a 2-day discussion, just on that. There was also wine, by the way, cheese and wine always. So the first discussion were in Spain. Then we moved. We also invited Ulysses. So us three were able to start and discuss on trying to build a plan and to have a roadmap on how we want to bring Express alive, or at least back alive. That's really the main idea and the main discussion here. Took a long time. We created the Express Forward initiative. So on January 29, it was in 2023, by the way. 2024? 2024, I think. 2024. With a concrete plan on what we want to do, how we want to do it, and really the idea behind that was to unstuck Express and to display to the community, hey, Express is still alive, it's still well, and will be working. So we were able to rebuild a full technical committee. That's the current version, I think. There is no one new. So that's 8 of us. Some of them were part of the previous technical committee. Some new people joined also. To be honest, 50%. First row, all people coming back. The row below is new people. So the first task of the initiative is really to bring and to publish a new version of Express. Like I said, we wanted to signal to people, come back to Express or start using Express, and also working on updating packages. That's something we did quite quickly. And the second part was really to say, hey, we want to set up or to enforce better security practices part of Express. We want to update Express version that may have not been patched in a long time, or active CVE that were never released to the public and never fixed. So the idea was really to ensure that Express is safe to use without any issue, and also working on being a lot more proactive in the security and different topic. Which in September 2024, so a bit more than a year ago, a year and 10 days exactly, we released Express 5.0. That was a huge release for us, not really a huge release in terms of changes, of performance, or anything else. Like I said, it was to display, hey, we are bringing here. But we still implemented some changes, especially linked to security. First, major breaking change. Express 5 is only working on Node.js 18 and above. Express 4, before that, was able to run on Node 0.10, I think, which was released in 2010 or something around that, up to the latest version, even 18, 20, 22. So that was quite a huge gap, blocking us on being able to release or to push new features. So the idea was really to move and to remove that. We also worked and added promises support. That was a huge request. We finally have promises on Express. Some changes about regex and how we do path matching, basically how you build your URL, the routing part of your Express application. Some changes also on body parser. And we removed some method and signature that were already deprecated, meaning they were deprecated 11 years ago. I think that's an enough good time for everyone to change basically the code. But quick tip, some people never change, so we still had people complain, hey, why did you remove that? Because we say that 11 years ago. Took time to change. Okay, so we released Express 5. Express 5 is alive. Express 5 is used. Now what's next? And because we are not really good at naming stuff, what's next? So it will be Express Next. Yeah. So we released the V5 branch. It's just the beginning of some work. The idea, like I said, we want to ensure and to display that Express is a framework of choice for the community. It's a framework of choice for people, for startup, for big company, for pretty much everyone. And we wanted to work and add a lot of new tooling or new experiences around security, performance, community, and sustainability. The last one is really important for us, to be honest, the two last one, but the last one especially because we don't want to have the same issue that happened in 2014 with only one maintainer that doesn't have time to work on Express, and then basically having this full ecosystem between dead and alive. So the idea is really to build something a lot more sustainable, built with the community and in partnership with communities, and we wanted to work a lot more on security and performance. That's some of our core principles on that. So for that, we created different working groups. The first two, so let's say, the first two that are not triage, the triage part is really something that we worked and rely on with a lot of people from the security. So if Sebastian is seeing me one day online, thanks Sebastian, that is doing a lot of triage for us. But the two most efforts that we spend on is creating two working groups, one about security, one about performances. Security released already most of the versions that were proposed or that are now available. They were to handle security fixes. And now we are dedicated and working with a lot of people on performances, people from Node.js, people that work on security on a daily basis to improve the performance of Express. We hope one day to be able to raise the speed of Express at the same level as most of other frameworks. For example, Fastify would be amazing to be able to beat a framework called Fastify and Hello Matteo, if you see me. But also behind that, we want to work on improving the experience of everyone on the website, on the documentation, to maybe be a bit more focused or having a documentation that can be explored a bit easier by LLM or any kind of new technology around that. And the last one, infrastructure, is something that you will never see around, but it's for us to be able to build, to have pipeline running smoother without any issue, being able to test what we want to deploy across the board, across every kind of software or hardware that can be encountered, and increase the number of tests, this kind of stuff. So quite a lot of different topic. So yeah, we discussed about the security working group. I discussed a bit about the triage team. We also changed the LTS strategy. We don't have an exact timeline today, but the idea is to be able to release major version every, I would say, couple of years, something like that, but to have an official plan so that you are aware when we will fully deprecate a version, when we won't support a version anymore. And the last one, automation. Everything in Express was built on top of stuff like Jenkins, Circle CI, and other stuff. Since now 5 years, I think, or a bit less than 5 years, we have GitHub Action that allows us to do also good stuff and not relying on specific infrastructure to run every pipeline workflow. So it's also moving and improving that. Yes, one interesting topic that we can, not just on Express, but in the full ecosystem, performance or security impact performances. And if you want to have something performant, you don't do security, because you can have one of the two, not the two. That's not really true, at least up to a certain level in the case of Express. The idea is we want to provide new features to work on performances by changing how Express operates, which means relying on the work done on Node.js to move out from all features that were implemented on dedicated library to move to something that is now part of Node.js directly, which means it will be way faster. So that's one of the main points. Second point, monkey patching. Do we have people in the room that know what monkey patching is? 1, 2, 3, a few people. For the other one, it's something that is really, really bad. If someone asks you, hey, let's monkey patch something, please say no. Monkey patching is really say no to drugs, say no to monkey patch. I should have a t-shirt one day. So monkey patching is really the idea of trying to add feature or to change the behavior of your sub-level. In our case, it's Node.js. So trying to add JS code or to change behavior, let's say, of specific feature. For example, if you are building something on top of fetch, then maybe you are trying to monkey patch the behavior of fetch by injecting JavaScript to change how fetch will behave. That's one of the topic. And Express, back in the day, we are speaking 10 years ago, 11 years ago, or even more, Node.js was not as mature as today without the same number of features, the same setup, and pretty much everything. So the idea is really to try to remove that code, to handle or to move out of custom code being written by the Express team to use Node.js directly, which is way, way faster. Another part is to remove the compatibility to all versions of Node.js. Like I said earlier, Node.js, Express support Node.js up to 0.10, which means that in some part of the code we have if node equal 0.10, then do something. If node equal 0.12, then do something. If node equal 0.4, do something else, and you can have that. I think the highest number is like 20 if else conditions somewhere, so definitely not the best way to work around. And then, fun part, if you go through most of the list here is, so you have that 20 if else condition, and then inside of that you have 20 different ways to monkey patch Node.js, which is amazingly bad. So yeah. Whoop. Yes, and so that's the technical part, a bit less technical. We wanted to work with community, with people from around the world to help us maintain and keep up Node.js and Express up to date. And for that, we rely on repo captain, triage team. We are working a lot on documentation. We are working on also typing Express for people that like and love TypeScript. We want to provide really good typing that will be available as soon as we release a new version. So we are trying to rebuild this full community ecosystem and to try to have something like community-driven. That's really the main idea. But it's hard. For that, and thanks to a few people and some stuff we are doing, so GitHub is helping us, the OpenJS Foundation, Tidelift, Open Collective also, that's the main idea, trying to build and to get also funding to try to work a lot more on Express. And earlier I said about numbers and number of download. So that's something that I took today, yes, that's today in numbers, we can see that a lot of people and a lot of previous version, like even below 420, which is also, I can do the joke, but I won't. So a lot of people moved, at least I started to update to 421, which are our latest version. We released a couple of months ago, almost a year ago now, for the V4 branch. But you can see that a lot of people also moved to V5 and mostly the V5.1 today. Like we have 10 million against 22 million. So that's good that we have something around a third of, maybe not download because we have 48 million download, but we start to have a growing number of people using Express 5, which if you are using Express 5 somewhere, you should try to update, or Express somewhere and it's V4, you should try to update to V5. If you are supporting Node 18 and above, it should work without any issue. 99% of the case, maybe you will be the unlucky 0.1%. And one interesting topic, and I'm a bit faster than expected, we discuss a lot about LLM, GenAI, and stuff like that, and MCP. One of the projects that rely on Express today is Model Context Protocol SDK. We can see that part of the 12 dependency, we have 4 of them, I think, part of the Express ecosystem, mostly the Express one. So the idea behind that is, yeah, Express may be old, Express may be not the fanciest framework today, maybe Express is this kind of stuff you heard about because someone before you wrote some API on top of Express, but Express is reliable, and that's the main idea. We want to keep it that way. But also, we have new people, new technology that are not even 1 year old, that are coming into play, and they are using Express for that same reason, of that being stable, being usable. And even if maybe it's not the most performant framework, it's more than enough for pretty much everyone. That, the compatibility, the existing documentation, and I guess part of the project, and maybe your love for Express. So yeah, we are here today, and that's really about reviving the Express framework, the Express ecosystem, and trying to build new stuff. One of the top ideas also with that is we are starting to work on V6, or at least thinking about the V6. We'll be opening a few pull requests, a few discussion also that we hope a lot of people from the community will join. The idea is really to focus Express on something that is way faster, that is more usable. Do we have people that wrote some Express application in the last, let's say, 6 months? Cool. How many of you wrote a front end with Express, so meaning you are using like JAD or Pug or HBS or stuff like that? One, in the last 6 months you did that? No, okay. In the last 6 months? Okay. Interesting. Because one of the ideas would be maybe to move that out of the pure core of Express. But you have a middleware. It will be just, you will have to do import, view, it will work the same. Just because it's not a big use case. So we want to improve on performances. Funnily enough, just 10 minutes before the talk, I found a way to half the size of the Express package also. So I will open up here on that. So that way you will be able to say, hey, I'm using Express, it's less than 100 kilobytes, unzipped. So maybe not, at least it won't help you on performance, but we could say Express will be green, less download, less size, less byte being sent through network. So that's pretty much everything. And yeah, Express still alive, Express working fine. We are moving and creating new stuff. We want to have Express usable by everyone. So feel free, give us our comments, how you'd like to see Express evolve. Yeah, that would be the idea. And so I'm a bit in advance by 5 minutes, but just before Q&A on stuff, for the train, that's a fully AI-generated stuff. When we're starting the project of reviving Express, we're like, hey, it would be great to have an Express logo. I asked ChatGPT, I don't know why, but he does like train. We are guessing because he think we are talking about like the Orient Express or some kind of train called Express. So this is an Express train that is a fully unofficial, fully AI-generated stuff, but I like to put it in presentation. It's a nice train, and who doesn't like train? So yeah. All good.